Alex, one more time, what was it?
12.
Okay. All right. Welcome, guys. So I know a lot of you guys have heard about Friday Night Flag from either playing in it, reffing in it, or maybe this is your first time hearing about it. But we are the largest flag football league in Idaho. We got 7,000 kids that play in it across from Boise, Meridian, Nampa, Pocatello, Idaho Falls. We're probably going to open up Rexburg in the fall, and then hopefully Logan too. So we're growing fast, and you guys are kind of the face of it. You know, you're interacting with the parents, with the kids, and the coaches, and so we want to make sure you're well trained and know what you're doing out there, so they feel like our league is high quality. So as we present this, it's going to be like you drink from a fire hose. You guys are going to not remember a lot of it. So we give you a copy of the rule book. The rule book's also online. If you go to FridayNightFlag.com, under the coach's corner, there's a copy of the rule book. Download it to your phone. I recommend reading it 3 or 4 or 5 times before Friday, and then each week read it a time or two. Just review it. I think it's 12 pages, so it's not very long. Just so you know the rules inside and out, because when you're in the moment, sometimes it's hard to remember things if you haven't really studied it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. Any questions first of all about the league before we jump in? Okay, so this season we're going to be doing 16 refs at a time. So we'll have 8 fields. So we'll have 8 fields for the first 2 hours, and we'll close one, and we'll run 7 for the third hour, and then for the last hour we'll shrink it down to 4. And those 4 will be under lights. Okay, so we already know you need 2 forms of ID. If you haven't already, or if you have to do it from home, like I know you, right, have to keep social, just email it, and you may want to just type this into your phone. Just email it to Eva. Just take a picture, email it directly to her, say I'm at Idaho Falls, and she'll process it, okay? You can take a picture of it too, that's a good idea. Okay? And you can just take your paperwork home, fill it out, take a picture of it, email it to Eva, okay? All right, so the basics. So you guys, how many of you guys play football? Okay, so you know the basic rules of football, right? You've got the line of scrimmage, you've got offsides. Well, flag football, how many of you play flag? Okay, all of you then. Okay, so you're familiar. What leagues did you guys play?
We live in Washington.
Okay, so you played league. Was it an NFL flag league? You had NFL jerseys? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so these rules are very similar. There may be a few tweaks, but they're probably really similar to the league you played in. Because we are NFL flag. So we'll have a rush line, which is 10 yards. We do 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. And that's a line where kids can rush from on the defensive side. Obviously, if you play flag football, you know what flag guarding is. And we've got the no run zone. Do you guys have no run zone in your league? Too long ago? Okay, no run zone. We'll talk about that. Okay? So first of all, when you're bringing the kids together, you're about 10 minutes before the game starts. You're going to line the kids up, and you're going to do an inspection. And you're going to make sure that they have plastic cleats, not metal cleats. Their shirts are tucked in. Their flags are attached, and they're not twisted up or bundled or covered. And if they have watches or necklaces or earrings, you take those off. You don't want anybody to get hurt on that. We issue everybody shorts, so we have like a Friday Night Flag, black shorts, no pockets, no belt loops. We want kids wearing those shorts. They can have stuff underneath, like on a cold night, but we want the kids wearing the shorts just because if they're wearing something else, they could have a pocket, they could have loops or something that could hurt somebody if they got their finger caught in it. And then mouth guards are recommended, but you don't have to have a mouth guard. So if a kid doesn't have a mouth guard, you don't kick them out. But we do recommend they get to the kids, they get them. Okay, so our field's 30 yards wide and 70 yards long. So obviously a lot smaller than a normal field, but we're only doing 5-on-5. So there's no blocking, there's no tackling. It's basically like if you guys ever played flag football in your backyard, everybody goes out for a pass and you got a quarterback. That's how we play it, okay? the lines are out of bounds like normal. This is what the field will look like, okay? So as far as no run zones, if the team will start here on the 5, and then let's say they get down here inside 5 yards from the midfield line, that's what we call the no run zone. So the only play they can play is pass play. Same with here. If they're 5 yards within the end zone, they have to do a pass play, okay? And typically as a referee, we'll remind coaches, hey, you're in the no run zone. And coaches should know what that is, okay? As far as coaches on the field, if you're reffing a kinder game or a first or second grade game, coaches can be on the field. They can have 2 coaches per team, and it's like herding cats. They need to be there to direct them in that. By the time we get 3rd and 4th grade, the coaches can be on the field between plays, but they need to be getting off the field by the time the ball is snapped, okay? So you want to explain that to them, especially the first couple weeks when you meet with the coaches before the game starts and stuff. So, okay. We try and keep it so only the head coaches are speaking to you guys. We don't want parents. We don't want assistant coaches. We don't want dads coming out and talking to you because, first of all, it's a distraction during the game. And second of all, really, the head coaches are the ones that deserve your respect and your ear because they're the ones volunteering. The other people may not know what they're talking about, okay? All right, 3 coaches on the sidelines and 2 on the field, okay? So starting out the game, we obviously will do the pregame inspection with the kids, making sure they're tucked in, cleats, no jewelry. Introduce yourself to the coach. We'll have a video on that a little bit more later. And then explain what's going on with the coach. Remind him about some of the rules that maybe you've seen violated in the week before, or remind them that to keep their parents under control, stuff like that, okay? So 10 minutes before the game starts, you want to do a coin toss, and the home team will call, and the home team will be in the dark jerseys, okay? And they'll make the call, and then if they win it, they can choose to either start with the ball or to play defense. The other team that lost the toss then gets to choose the direction. It's kind of like normal football that way, okay? If you get started early, that's okay. If they have all the players there, you want to start early, that's great. That will probably give you a little bit more time in between games. These games are 45 minutes, and you have like 15 minutes at best to get a drink, switch the banners on the field, get back on the field, and start doing your inspection. So you have very little time in between games. So what I recommend, you bring water bottles. If you want a snack, bring a snack and take it to you on the field because it's just go, go, go. If you ref all 4 hours, you'll be like, man, that was the fastest 4 hours of my life because it goes really fast. Okay. So I mentioned the home team is going to be wearing dark. The visiting team will be wearing white. Just enforce that because it makes it way easier for you to remember when you're keeping score, who's home and who's away. It just simplifies things. If the team has only 4 players, they don't forfeit. They can go ahead and play with 4. If they have less than that, it is a forfeit. I usually give them, and we don't have this problem very often, but I usually give them 5 or 10 minutes to get their team together after start time. And if they don't have their team, then we just call forfeit. So the other team can, if they only have 4 players, the other team can loan them a player if they want. I don't think we've ever run into that. We've had teams forfeit for not showing up, but never just mostly because they decided to boycott, but that's a long story. Okay. So each quarter is 10 minutes, and every 5 minutes we have substitutions. So you'll be keeping the clock. You'll have head ref keeping the main clock. You have a second ref keeping a secondary clock. So every 5 minutes you're going to tell the coaches subs. The next 5 minutes will be the end of the quarter, and they'll sub again at the end of the quarter. We don't stop the clock for hardly anything except for injuries and timeouts. And if you're doing good on time, you can pause for 10 or 15 seconds while you do substitutions. Otherwise, the clock just goes. 2-minute halftime. So, basically enough time for them to get a drink and get their subs in and tell them to play, and we're starting up again. After you spot the ball and you give them the signal to go forward, that you're ready to play, they have 30 seconds to get the snap off, okay? And that's going to be a manual basically a manual count on your part. And you want to tell the coaches 10 seconds before you'll count it out loud, 10, 9, so that they know that they're about to have a delayed game. Now, if with the kindergarten, the first and second graders, especially the first couple weeks, you can be pretty lenient on the time clock because these poor kids are just trying to figure out what's going on. The poor coach is trying to explain it to them. If you have one that's getting excessive, he's taking a minute or 2 minutes between plays, go talk to him about, Coach, you guys speed this up. You've got 30 seconds. I'm kind of giving you a chance here, but you got to speed it up. Okay. And then if they're still doing it, then you maybe start saying, okay, I'm going to count down. I'm going to throw a penalty. Just kind of give them a plenty of warning. All right. Each team has one timeout, so if they don't use the timeout in the first half, it does not carry over. So they don't have two the next. They just have one per half. Okay. As far as stopping the clock, if you use your discretion on that, if you have a coach that's getting your ear and says, hey, I want to talk about this. I think you made the wrong call. He can call a timeout and challenge your call if it's about a rule. If it's a judgment call, he can't. So if you for example, you say, oh, you can run if you're 5 yards from the end zone. And the other coach says, no, that's against the rules. He can call a timeout. You pull it up in the rule book and you're like, oh, you're right. I made a mistake. Give him his timeout back. If he's wrong, he loses his timeout. Okay. But that's only on challenging if you have the rule wrong, not if you're like, I think he stepped out and the coach is like, he didn't step out. There's no challenge there, right? It's just on rules. Okay. Obviously injuries, you can call a timeout if the kid gets hurt. Any questions on anything so far? Okay. Overtime, we only do overtime in the playoffs, so weeks 6 and 7. So read it in the rule book. I'm going to kind of go through it pretty quick because we have so much material to cover, but just read it over in the rule book, and we'll go over it on the field when we start playoffs, so you guys are really familiar with it. Otherwise, during the regular season, it just ends in a tie. Okay. Skip the overtime stuff. Okay, so scoring just like normal football for the most part. We have 6 points for a touchdown, 2 points for a safety, one point if they start and go for a PAT from the 5, and 2 points if they go for a PAT from the 10. Now they'll tell you have to ask the coach after they score, hey, do you want to go for 1 or 2? And then you spot the ball accordingly. Okay. If as far as the safety goes, if they have your traditional, their knee is down, their elbows down, any of that inside the end zone, obviously it's safety. But with flag football, there's no fumbles. And so if they snap the ball in the shotgun position and it goes over their head and lands in the end zone, it's a dead ball immediately, but it's a dead ball where it lands. And so it'd be a safety, okay? Or if they hand it off in the end zone and they fumble it, it's safety, okay? So also if they take the snap and their flag is fouled out, it's a safety because that's considered a tackle, okay? Let's see. Obviously, if the defensive team scores a safety, they then get the ball. So they get 2 points and they get the ball, and they get the ball back at their own 5, okay? One important point, in traditional football, if somebody dives across the end zone, they give them a touchdown, right? Because it's where the ball is. In flag football, it's where your front foot is. And the reason we do that is because we don't want people diving because they have no gear to protect them. So diving is taken out of the equation by spotting the ball where their front foot is when either the flag is pulled or when they step out of bounds, okay? So remember that. My wife still complains today about my son's game, and the referee did not realize that, and he gave the opposing team, not my son's team, a touchdown when they reached the crap end zone. And she's like, if he would have known the rules, we would have won. All right. Okay. Live ball, dead ball. So you probably all know if you play football what a dead ball is. You step out of bounds, you're tackled, your knee hits the ground or your elbow. But let's see what else. After a touchdown or a PAT, that's a dead ball. If your flag falls out, even if it's not pulled, if it just falls out, it's a dead ball. If the receiver catches the ball and he's already got no flags or he's missing one flag, you can count the catch, but as soon as the ball is dead wherever he catches it, right? So he can't advance the ball. So we have in flag football, once the ball is snapped, they have 7 seconds to throw the ball or to hand it off. So the back judge or the head ref has been counting off the 7 seconds, and then if that time expires, then it's a loss of down, then it goes back to the line of scrimmage. Okay, it's not you don't spot it where he's standing when the play expires. It's just basically like an incomplete pass. And we talked about timeouts for challenging a call. Okay. So as far as formations, I mean, you'll see all kinds of different stuff, but they do have to have at least one person on the line of scrimmage snapping the ball. They can't do. They can send one player into motion when he gets back to the line. He needs to be set for 1 second before the ball snapped. And then as far as handing the ball off, this is our rule. So some flag football leagues are different, but we require the ball to be snapped between the legs. The quarterback has to take complete possession of the ball, and then if he wants to hand it off to the center, he can do that, but he can't hand it off to the legs. So what we see sometimes is they'd snap the ball, the quarterback would touch it, and then the center would bring it back up and then run. And we don't do that in our league. Adult leagues will let them do it, but we don't do that. Okay.
If the center is going to run the ball, he can hike the ball. The quarterback can receive it, and then the center has to stay up, turn it, and grab it from there.
Yeah.
So the center can run the ball.
Yeah, they can. It just has to be a normal handoff. Okay, we talked about front foot. That's where the ball is spotted for us. If the quarterback is rushed and he's not handed off the ball, he can avoid the rush, but he cannot advance the ball, so he can't cross the line of scrimmage. So that's kind of different from most flag football too. So what you need to pay attention to is a lot of teams will get in the habit of they'll just snap the ball, hand it off to the guy they really want to be quarterback, and then he'll look for a pass. Just pay attention to whether or not they hand it off, because then if he's rushed, this guy can run, right? Because he's handed it off. But the rushers, so anybody lined up on the line of scrimmage on the defensive side, they can't cross the line of scrimmage until the ball's handed off. So as soon as the ball's handed off, they can also rush. So there's different strategies there, and we won't talk about strategy, but just pay attention. If it's a handoff, then you know that the people at the line can come across the line of scrimmage at that point, and he can run. And you think, of course, that's obvious, but when you start roughing, you see gazillion snaps, it's really easy to be like, see, did he hand that off, or was that the quarterback running? You know. Okay. No diving or leaping for the runner. So we don't want any runners, diving head first or jumping over people or anything like that. A common thing you'll see is they'll jump to avoid a flagpole. And that's a hard call, but you can jump cut and you can spin, but you can't jump sideways or forward or whatever to avoid a flagpole. And lots of times you'll see he's running between two defenders. He'll jump in between them to try and avoid the flagpole. We don't allow jumping for them unless it's a jump cut or a spin. Okay. Blocking or screening. They can't even impede the defender at all. So one thing you'll see is maybe the center will snap the ball, and then the rusher will come from the 10-yard marker and be running, and the center may just step in front of him, or he may not. He may already be in front of him. But if he impedes the direct line to the quarterback, it's considered blocking and it's illegal. The other thing you'll see a lot, and this is especially in the young kids grade, they'll sweep around the end because they all sweep. They sweep around the end, they outrun the defense, and his little buddy comes and he's running alongside him and he's cheering for him. And the defender comes up, but the little buddy running alongside of him isn't between him and the defender, and he's impeding, and it's a block. And it's a swap foul, and you call the touchdown back, and the coach will be mad at you, but that's the rules. You can't block, okay? Any questions on blocking? You'll get better as you see more of it. Okay. All 4 passes have to be from behind the line of scrimmage, just like normal football. We mentioned the 7-second clock. If the ball is handed off, there is no more 7-second clock, right? So they can hand the ball off and sit in the backfield for 30 seconds if they want, if no one's going to rush them. Let's see. If a ball is, if it occurs in the end zone, there's a loss of down and placed back at the line of scrimmage. So that's an incomplete pass. I think that's what I'm referring to. Yeah, so any incomplete pass in the end zone or whatever goes back to the original line of scrimmage. Okay. Passing is pretty straightforward because it's pretty much, other than 7-second clock, it's just like normal football. And of course, there's no fumbles in our league. It's just a dead ball if they fumble. Okay, everybody's eligible for a pass. The center is eligible, as Morgan mentioned. In order to count as a catch, you have to have 1 foot in, not 2. It's not the NFL, even though we have their jerseys. It's just 1 foot in. If there's an interception, the ball is spotted wherever the end of the play is. So sometimes some have gotten that confused. So I've had referees in the past like, oh, it goes back to the 5. It doesn't. It's just like normal football. If there's an interception, wherever they advance the ball to, that's where they take possession of it. On PATs, it's different. If they return a PAT, whether they were going for 1 or 2, it's 2 points for the defense. If they intercept the ball and they run back to the 5 but don't quite get in, then it's just a turnover. They take the ball over on the 5, which is like normal football for the most part. Okay, I covered everything on that. So we mentioned the no run zone. Remember, it's 5 yards from the midline. So there's only 1 first down. I don't know if I mentioned that. There's only 1 first down, and it's midline, right? So if halfway down the field is their only first down, and then of course the end zone. So if you're in a no run zone, it has to be a forward pass before they advance the ball. So somebody brought up the question, well, can we pitch it? They could pitch the ball or do a lateral behind the line of scrimmage, but they can't run forward. They still have to pass the ball. So just be aware of that. And you'll see that's probably a penalty you'll see a few times during the season where a coach forgets he's in the no run zone or whatever, and you have to penalize him for that. If a team has a penalty, or let's say they take a snap and they fumble it, and it then moves the ball back outside the no run zone, they're okay at that point on the next play to go to a run play. Okay. It's a new rule this year, so for John and Drake, we're implementing a 4th down if they're at the midline. So there's 4 down possible up to the first down, and then to score they have 3 downs like normal. Okay. So the 4th down is optional. So if the team decides to go for 4th, it's like normal football in that they can choose to either punt or they can choose to go for it. If they punt, they don't actually punt it. It's just they just give the ball to the other team at their own 5. If they decide to go for it, all normal rules apply. But if they don't succeed at getting the first down, then it's a turnover on downs at the end of the play. Okay, just like normal football, pretty straightforward. None of the coaches are going to know this. I'm going to send an email out this week on this, but this is probably one of those rules you might want to explain to them at pregame when you're meeting with them. Just say, hey, don't know if you're aware of the 4th down rule, but this is new rule. You can go for 4th only before you cross the midfield line. Once they cross the midfield line, they only have 3 downs to score. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay. And there's the picture of the field. So once again, they'll start here. They have 4 downs to get to here if they choose, and then 3 downs to get to the end zone. Okay, rushing the passer. So one of your jobs, and this will be typically it's the line judge or back judge, you will pace off from where you spot the ball. You pace off 10 steps. And we have little markers you put down to mark the rush line. And anybody that lines up behind the rush line can rush, but they don't have to. So I've seen some strategies where the whole team will line up 10 yards off, so the opposing team doesn't know who's coming at them. As soon as the ball snaps, as long as they're behind that line, they're free to cross the line of scrimmage and go after the ball carrier. If they leave the line early, so they anticipate the snap count, they jump across the line, the ball snapped. If they continue forward and cross the line of scrimmage, they're offsides. If they continue forward but stop and don't go across lines of scrimmage, they're okay. But if they stop, go back behind the 10-yard line, and then start forward again, they can rush. Okay. If they go to block the pass, so the quarterback's there, they go to throw it, they jump up to block the pass, they're okay to do that. But if they come down and touch the quarterback at all, it's roughing the passer. Okay. So the back judge or the head ref pay attention, because oftentimes you oftentimes want to follow the ball, like your eyes want to follow the ball, but just watch, make sure that in his follow through or something, he doesn't hit the quarterback. We had that happen a couple of seasons or two ago, and a kid got a finger in his eye or something like that, and so it was pass interference. Okay. Defenders can dive to pull flags as long as they don't tackle. So if they're chasing the kid, they dive and grab it, that's okay. But if they dive and take out his knees, that's a tackle. Okay. That's probably one of the hardest calls, and you tell me if you agree with this, but knowing when to call a tackle and when not to is hard, because sometimes you pull a flag and kids fall down. Was that a tackle or is this kid falling down? That's just kind of a judgment call. If it looks like they impacted him and made him fall down, call a tackle, because it's one of those safety things. I'd rather you err on the side of calling too much tackling than not enough, because if you don't start calling it, then you start seeing more and more tackles. So do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Morgan's refed for us. How many seasons? 4? 3?
This will be my 4th.
Yeah. So he's refed a ton of games. Way more. I've only refed a handful, so he's seen it all. But let's see. As far as tackling, you can't. Stripping the ball. So you can't come up and try and knock the ball out of the player's hand. Any of that is illegal. Once the kid has possession, you can only pull the flag. You can't try and knock anything loose. If the flag falls out, we mentioned this. If it falls out for any reason, whether it's the defender or if it just didn't stay in, the runner is down. Can't pull the flag with people that don't have the ball. That's illegal. There's no stiff arming, or this is for more like flag guarding, but you can't stiff arm. You can't knock people's hand away. You can't lower your shoulder or the ball. Anything to try to stop somebody from pulling your flag, that's called flag guarding. You can't do that.
Even there's sometimes where you run into it and the kid's doing it on accident. They get this exaggerated run and their hands are coming down by their flag. Even if they're not meaning to block their flag, if their hand is coming down here and it impedes the defensive player from pulling it, then that's also a flag guard.
And you get complaints. He's just running. It doesn't matter. He's blocking somebody from grabbing his flag.
Got to keep his hands up or their hands up.
Yeah. They can't pull on shorts and jerseys. So this is probably one of the tougher calls, right? So if they're diving for the flag and they get a flag and a handful of shorts and they pull it out, that's okay. But if they're grabbing with this hand and pulling with this hand, obviously they're using this to slow them down and just to pull. Or if they're just grabbing hold of shorts and holding on, waiting for that. I mean, there's some that are pretty obvious. If it's incidental and doesn't look like it slowed or impeded the player by their grab, usually let it go. But that's one of those judgment calls. Most of the time, you can tell. If they grab hold and they don't let go for a second, they're impeding. If they grab hold and they immediately let go, then you know that they probably didn't impede, and that's okay. Okay, so we'll watch a video on this, so I won't spend too much time on this, but most of the time you'll be in 2s. Sometimes we'll have you in 3s, just depending on the number of referees we have. But there's going to be the head ref, and you're going to keep time. You're going to count 7 seconds for the quarterback. You're going to look for the pass like the roughing the passer, blocking and stuff like that. Then you'll line up on one opposite side of the other ref. Typically, one ref will line up on the line of scrimmage, the head ref, and the other ref will line up at the 10-yard rush line, so slightly further downfield. Your job on the one sideline as the head ref will be to watch the out of bounds as they run to the side, to your side. The other ref it'll be important to watch the out of bounds on their side. And then the line judge for the second ref will be marking off the 10-yard line. He'll be helping get the ball back to the head ref for spotting the ball. And then I have a quick pop quiz. Can the quarterback run if he's rushed? No, he cannot. I was not one answering. Everybody else is still asleep. Okay. Everybody pull out your phone. I'll give you this. That's my question. Pull out your phone and pull up your Google Play Store or the App Store and type in letterboard, and it's going to correct your spelling, so you probably have to do it twice because it always wants to spell Lead. And download that app. This is the app we use to control our scoreboards. It's also a handy app for just keeping track of time and the score on your phone. Yeah. Did you get it ready? Yeah. That was fast. So you play around with that. When we're on the field, the leaderboards will turn on and they'll give you like a Wi-Fi password. So you have to open your Wi-Fi, select the leaderboard, Wi-Fi, put in the password, and then it'll connect. We'll kind of walk you through that, especially, John or somebody like that who's done it before, and Greg don't know how to do it. So we're going to try and put experienced refs with new refs, especially initially, as much as possible, so you guys can kind of get your feet wet. So download that. Even if you don't end up connecting the scoreboard, maybe not a bad idea to just have it on your phones, because sometimes it's an easy way to track time or track the score to help the head ref out. Okay. Scorecards. I forgot to show you the scorecards. So we're doing new scorecards for you returning refs. These will be new for you new refs. Obviously, everything's new, but this is the new scorecard. They'll be cut in these little squares, so you can stick them in your pocket. But before, we used to have to write down. Now the numbers are written out, and you just X out or put a line through whatever the score is. You want, and I'll pass this around, but you want to put what field number you're on. Once again, we have 8 fields. The time you're reffing, so it'll be 5, 6, 7, or 8. Then you put what division. We have 7 divisions. So we have kindergarten, first and second rec, first and second comp, third and fourth rec, third and fourth comp, fifth and sixth, and seventh and eighth. Okay. So you put whatever division you're at, and you'll get all this from the schedule. And then you put the name of the team. This is the Cardinals, or this is the Chiefs. And so you put them down, and then you'll X out or draw a line to the score, and then at the end of the night, you'll write the final scores right here, which is score. And then the most important part, you'll then take it to my wife at the trailer, and she'll enter the score in online. Because what we do in our league is we have standings. So she enters the score in, and immediately online, people can go and see where they're ranked as far as their division. Okay. So I'll pass that around, take a look, so you can kind of get familiar with it. One suggestion on this is when you get there, especially if you're going to be a head ref for the night, you get there, you pull out the scorecards, and you fill them out for all the games you're scheduled for. And this is a trick we learned from Morgan. You get them all scheduled, and then it's all filled out. It gives you more time, less rush in between games, because you've already got your scorecard ready for the next game. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. At the end of the night, when I say the end of the night, I mean when your field is being closed down. So like this year, it's unusual because we'll be closing field 8 at 7 o'clock, and field 7 at 8 o'clock, and then the rest after that. So at the end of the night, when your field is being closed down, you and your partner will go and clean up the pylons. We have a bunch of PVC that holds the banners. You'll gather all that up, the rebar, and you'll bring it back to the trailer, okay? Don't be one of those guys that leaves your co-ref to clean it all up by himself, okay? Stay until it's all cleaned up. It makes my life a lot easier too, because if I have to go clean up all 8 fields by myself, it's a lot of walking, a lot of work, okay? And then you'll just bring everything to the trailer, we'll put it away, and if you're not scheduled for another field, then that'll be the end of your night. If you are, then you'll just head to your next field, okay? You don't have to worry about portable lines, but next in the fall, we might do portable lines again. Okay. As far as dress, a couple of yards, I have black pants or black shorts if it's warmer. You don't have to have those stripes on the pants or anything like that. If you want to get those, that's great. We had one ref that was also a high school ref, so we had the whole official gear. We'll provide the jerseys. We have the shirts. So you come to the trailer, you put them on. At the end of the night, you'll take them off, put them in the hamper. We'll wash them for you. I recommend you get your own whistle. We will have whistles, but go get like a Fox 40 whistle, something that you like and that you'll keep track of. If you don't want to do that, it's fine. You can use our whistles, but if you buy it yourself, you probably keep track of it better. I had some referees that every week was like, new whistle. I'm like, come on, guys. Oh, it's in my car. I left it at home. I'm like, dude, how many whistles have you taken? So just get your own whistle. Once again, if you don't want to, you're like, I'm not going to, that's fine. Use one of ours.
To go along with the whistle part, the Fox 40 is awesome. I've been coaching for a while. The Fox 40 is really loud. And that's really a big part of making a call on the field is blowing that whistle confidently. So if you don't have a Fox 40 and you're using one of Reese's whistles, really lay on that thing to let the coaches know that you're making a confident call. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if the whistle isn't that loud and the play is still happening because the players can hear it, the coach can hear it, and then you have to bring it all back. They're upset because they didn't hear it. So just really lay on those whistles if you have them. Don't be afraid to do that.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah, if you have a black hat or a white hat, bring it if you want. You may not want to do it the first season because it'll probably be cold. Also, look at the forecast. If you look at the forecast and it's going to be rain or snow, bring a rain jacket to put under your ref jersey, or wear a coat that you can put under your ref jersey. I always pick on my niece, but she was reffing for us, and she was like, it's like 30 degrees, 32 degrees. It's cold, and she shows up. She's in a sweatshirt and there's shredded pants. That's the style. And I'm like, do you want a coat? She's like, no, I'll be fine. And by the end of the night, she's frozen solid. She's so cold. So wear plenty of clothes. It's easy to take clothes off. It's better to be too warm than too cold, but dress appropriately. If you have cleats and they're comfortable enough, wear cleats so you don't slip on the grass. If not, just wear a good pair of shoes that are comfortable and grippy. Bring water for your field. Bring a big water bottle. You'll get really thirsty really fast. It's amazing. Even when it's cold, you get thirsty because you're just running so much. And bring a snack. We'll have bins. You can throw your stuff in the bins. It's where we keep the pylons, but you can throw your stuff in there so no one's messing with your stuff while you're in the game. We'll also keep a copy of the rule book in these bins too. So if somebody's challenging a rule, you can go grab that rule book out of the bin and use it for reference. If it's sunny, bring sunglasses if you like sunglasses. Anyway, be prepared. Okay. I think I did a rules quiz last time, but I think I'm gonna maybe do it at the end this time when we have the Kahoot too.
Yeah,
so let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and go to the video. These videos are, just so you know, are coming from NFL Flag. They're a national organization. Even if you watch the Super Bowl, they had an NFL Flag game before the Super Bowl. Maybe it was Pro Bowl. I can't remember. So this training is coming from the national headquarters on how to ref. So this guy, Tom Leneve, he's been reffing for 40 years. So this barely came out a month ago or 2 months ago. So this is really good stuff. So for you returning refs, this will be all new for you. And I don't have any sound. Where's my sound?
Hello. Welcome to the NFL Flag Official Certification course. My name is Tom Lenave, and I'm the Director of Officiating for the NFL Flag program. In this course, we will give you the foundation you will need to confidently lead as a certified NFL Flag official. Let's get started. Being an NFL Flag official is more than enforcing the rules.
Your job is to help participants learn and grow with each game while providing leadership and guidance in a safe environment. That's why your communication skills are key as you work towards these goals. Think about communication as both verbal and visual. It matters what you say and the way you say it. Mastering these skills will help you develop trusting relationships with fellow officials, coaches, and players in every game you officiate. Establishing good relationships start from the moment you arrive at the field. Here's how to make a professional first impression. Arrive early and in full uniform with all your equipment in place and in good condition. If you don't have a full uniform, wear single-colored pants or shorts, preferably black, with a striped shirt and the required gear. If you want to wear a hat, make sure it's only black or white. Before every game, it's best to have a defined plan, so you're prepared to arrive on time and ready to go. This small act will help you establish cooperation and trust with officials, coaches, and players. Consistency is at the top of every coach's list of concerns. They may ask questions like, how are you going to call the game? And what can my players expect? Put a plan in place the moment you step foot on the field. After you arrive, meet with the other officials to confirm assignments, responsibilities, game management, mechanics, and the pace of play you're comfortable with. You should also cover penalties and enforcement, paying close attention to impeding the rusher, flag guarding, blocking, screening, and pass interference fouls. Understanding each official's approach, in addition to your own, conveys professionalism, leads to consistency, and shows coaches and players that the game will be fair and within the rules. When you report to the field, introduce yourself and your crew to each team's coaching staff in a professional manner. Avoid negative body language like crossing your arms or putting your hands in your pockets. And always address the coach as coach, their earned title and one of respect. Referring to a coach by his or her first name may appear as favoritism or bias toward a particular team. Then find out which coach is the lead voice on timeouts, conversions, and penalty enforcement. If you're only working with one partner on the field as a two-person crew, make the coaches aware that field coverage will be limited in some cases. Establishing potential issues that can affect the game early on helps prevent any possible disputes. Lastly, ask if there are any rule clarifications or general questions the coaches need answered. When it comes to how the game will operate, including player safety, there should be no doubt of the crew's intentions. This is where pregame instructions come in handy. They allow you to effectively manage the game by conveying your expectations of coaches and players for in-game communication, rough play, and enforcement. NFL flag rules include a section devoted to coaches' behavior and the expectations they must follow while coaching in an NFL flag game or tournament. They're required to sign a coach's code of conduct and strictly adhere to guidelines for conduct and attitude. They're responsible not only for their own behavior, but for the players and in some cases, the parents as well. Also take into consideration that these men and women give their time freely for the benefit of those they coach and the communities they live in. You want to acknowledge this when you're developing your approach for how you'll interact with coaches on game day, in addition to stating their NFL flag coaching expectations. In-game communication with coaches and players should be done during dead ball situations or natural breaks within each game. Remember that once the huddle is broken, all communication must stop to focus on the play and your responsibilities. The same goes after each play, in which no foul has been committed, until the ball has been spotted and the ready for play signal is given. There will be points during the game when coaches and players have questions about plays, alignment, and penalties. When addressing players, it's best to refer to them by their position. Show respect and use a calm tone. Remember, even when things get heated, don't yell. Here are some key reference points you can follow when it comes to game communication with coaches and players. Be respectful, make eye contact, and use an even tone. Be cognizant of poor body language, like crossing your arms or putting your hands in your pockets. Acknowledge the coach or player and their concern. Don't ignore them. Answer questions, not statements, and focus on the job at hand. If you don't know the answer, tell the coach with a provision that you'll get them one as the game allows. Soften your instructions by asking the coach for help rather than directing. Take a proactive approach in avoiding confrontation and unnecessary penalties. Alert coaches and players in advance about potential penalties or behavior issues that may unfairly affect the game. Inevitably, there will be times when your explanation is not enough for players and coaches, and they will persistently push their concern. In these situations, you must continue to focus on your job and maintain professionalism while letting them know it's time to move on. Offer them the opportunity to use a timeout for a conference or during breaks in a game, like halftime or postgame. If the complaints continue, issue a warning and inform them that further escalation will lead to a penalty or even ejection. Remember, you have the ability to dictate the tone and direction of every conversation. You can't overlook the importance of post-game communication. Even though coaches might be busy during this time, you can still let them know you're available to help resolve any concern the coach may have had. But you should never engage with any player to talk about the game that just completed. Furthermore, you and your fellow officials should take a moment to review how your game plan unfolded and address any outstanding issues. Effective communication is key to being a successful NFL flag official. Whether it's with coaches, players, or your fellow officials on the field, establishing a good rapport early while being approachable will create a positive game atmosphere for everyone.
Okay, any questions on communication? What do you think you guys should talk about after the game between you and your other ref? What are some things that you should discuss? Any ideas? Yeah, problems. Maybe if you're with a junior ref, or maybe if you're not a junior ref. Let's say your other referee's not blowing his whistle when there's a dead ball situation. Go talk to him after the game. Be like, look, I can't hear your whistle, and neither can they. Blow that a little louder. Kind of coach each other up and help each other get better.
And it's not just things that went wrong. We should also talk about things that went well.
Yeah, good point. Right.
It's positive reinforcement. What about that?
There could be modifications too. Be like, you know what? Let me do the marker this time, or maybe talk about things that, even little things, even if it's like, hey, would you make sure you tell the team to help us get the ball back, or stuff like that. Or hey, when we do the pregame, let's make sure we mention this because this is a problem. Just kind of look at things, and sometimes just reviewing it in your own mind and saying it out loud to your partner can help you reinforce things and get better. All right.
Mute that.
I bet there is. If I could, which tab? I have a theme song. I don't even know what tab it is. I have too many tabs open.
There's a video that you guys will get to watch too, the field mechanics, like how it works for the referees. I'm going to be doing like hand signs, so I'm going to go ahead and hand these out to you now.
Do you guys have Kahoot on your phones?
Yeah.
If you don't, download it really quick. We're going to have some Kahoot. Why am I not moving forward? Okay. We'll take a quick quiz. This is on the video we just watched, okay? Okay, which of these should an official not do during a communication with coaches? So use eye contact during meetings and discussions. Ask them for their first name so you can refer to them by it throughout the game. Avoid crossing your arms or other body language that might indicate officials disrespect, or leave enough time in meetings for coaches to be able to ask questions or receive any clarifications. Which one should you not do? Ask for the first name. Any other? Cross the arms. Okay. Good. Any others? So we got this one, and this one. So you can only choose one. So I think who answered one? Okay, who answered? Who answered it? You answered one. Here you go. So you can only choose one. So you're not. We already know you're not supposed to do this one. You're supposed to just refer to him for coach. So I'm guessing it's this one. We know we're not supposed to do that. What is the proper time for an official to complete putting on their uniform and equipment? When should you put on your uniform and equipment? In the parking lot, after the refereeing crew meet, prior to the first game, before arriving to the fields, or any time before the first coach's meeting prior to the first game. Before arriving to the fields. And that's kind of going to be true for us, although you'll come early enough to the fields, you'll get them at the trailer. We just want them on before people start showing up, okay? Who answered that? Okay. Which of the following would be key reference points to cover during an official's pregame meeting? Agree on a structure for penalty enforcement, commit to a plan, be respectful and open-minded to each other, review mechanics and define responsibilities. Review mechanics and define responsibilities. Anybody disagree with that? Okay. Which of these are in an improper communication with the coach? Coach, it looks like your QB's equipment needs to be fixed before the next play. Coach, I'm not sure about the answer to your question, but I'll work on getting you an answer when I can. Get your players back in the players box, coach. Coach, we're ready for the next play, so we'll have to address your question later unless you'd like to challenge the call. Why is that wrong, Kins? Yeah, it's commanding them, right? They said, remember what he said? Basically, you command the coaches by asking them questions. That's how you get them to do things. Okay, which of the following should be raised by the head referee during the pregame meeting? Delay of game warnings, how ready for play whistles will work, contact foul warnings, or all of the above? All of the above, right? Once the game is finished, direct communication is discouraged with coaches, players, tournament staff, or officials. Who said players? Who else said players? Right there. Sorry, bad throw. Okay, let's see how we did. Did we get them all right, I think? No. I don't think so. We missed two. Let's see what we missed. Okay, so they're saying not, dude. That's interesting because they specifically said don't cross your arms. All right, so they want you don't ask for their first names. We knew that too, but okay. We got those ones right. It's interesting. Okay. Okay, let's talk about pace of play. This one's an important one.
NFL Flag is a fun, fast-paced game with a running clock. It's your job to maintain a tempo that matches the coaches and players' style of play, even though that can be more challenging than you think. This section breaks down the important aspects of pace of play so all your games run smoothly. NFL Flag is such a fast-paced game that it's easy to fall into a race mentality. It's important that officials ensure a tempo that doesn't put the offense or defense at a disadvantage outside of the normal breaks in the game. When you discuss the pace of play with the other officials during your pregame meeting, the tempo you and your crew agree upon will affect the number of plays that are run from scrimmage, which should be the same for every play during that game. Also, the game clock and the ball's placement shouldn't affect how fast you move up and down the field, or how quickly you mark the ball ready for play. If you accelerate towards the end of the half or game, it may seem like you're favoring one team over another. After all, fairness is a top priority for coaches and players. Your pace of play plan starts with pregame instructions. Ask both teams for help retrieving and returning the ball after plays. The next play can't begin until the ball is in the hands of the head referee. This sounds simple in theory, but it can get complicated, especially after a long pass 20 yards downfield with the ball bouncing out of play. Plus, enlisting each team's help works towards the coach's goal of maximizing the number of plays from scrimmage. Additionally, you want to minimize the time it takes to spot the ball after each play by closing the distance between you and the other officials on the field. That way, you can quickly get the ball back to the head referee so he or she can set the line of scrimmage and signal the ready for play. To signal the ready for play and move the game forward, the 7-yard rush line must be set. Encourage the rush judge to mark the spot with a beanbag or marker after walking the necessary 7 yards. This allows him or her to reset without needing to walk the 7 yards every play. However, you shouldn't retrieve this marker for long plays completed downfield. Use your judgment to decide the best approach for each play. In NFL Flag, most possession changes start on the 5-yard line, but there will be times when the ball moves 30 or 40 yards downfield after a declared punt on 4th down. To keep things running seamlessly, we recommend a quick jog. Clock stoppages require some preparation as they can alter the flow of the game. In NFL Flag, the clock stops at halftime, during one of each team's 3 timeouts, at the official's discretion, or in the event of an injury to a player. Player health and safety takes precedence above all else. If a player is injured, stop the game immediately and assist to provide appropriate treatment. The game clock can't start until the injured player is safely removed from the field, all officials are in position, and both teams are lined up and ready to start. During huddles, work with the coaches to bring the players back on the field to restart the game. For timeouts and halftime, monitor the clock closely and notify coaches when 10 seconds are remaining before players should be on the field and in position. If coaches delay unnecessarily, you have the discretion to start the 25-second play clock once your crew is in place. The only other time play is interrupted and the clock stops is when an official's discretionary timeout is called. An example of this is when a coach challenges a ruling made on the field. First, ask the coaches and players to return to their respective sidelines. Then, huddle as a crew in the center of the field. Each official should be direct and deliberate in their conversation concerning the call. Once a decision is made and announced by the head referee, bring the teams back onto the field to start the next play. Should overtime be needed to decide the outcome of the game, review the rules with each team's captain and head coach, flip the coin, and go to work. Managing the game at a good pace helps maintain your focus and adds consistency and rhythm within your crew. These are valuable traits coaches look for and appreciate in an NFL flag official.
Okay. Any questions on that? Let's go to the quiz. Okay, in an NFL flag, the game's clock will stop blank. Select all that apply. Injured player, timeout, ball travels out of play, or official's discretion. All of them except for the third one? That is right. Colt, you grab the door? Oh, it's just GPS, man. Okay. As a crew, you should not move faster when there are less than 2 minutes on the game clock to help get more plays for the offense. True or false? True. There's one for you. Yeah. True. Okay, being mechanically sound during blank leads to a consistent pace throughout the game. Is it possession changes, clock stoppages, timeouts, or all of the above? Who said that? Drake? You didn't want yellow, I can tell. All right. You should not ask for the help of players and coaches when retrieving the ball to start the next play. It's your job as the official. Who said that? You did. Right. You're supposed to say go. All right. An appropriate pace for an official during the NFL game flag is fast walk, full sprint, quick jog, or slow run. Quick jog. To maintain proper pace when spotting the ball, you should close the distance between the officials after the play, ask for another ball from one of the teams, ask for help from the coaches and players pregame, stop the game clock if the ball goes out of play. First one. And who else? What other one? Third one? Okay, I think that's probably right. We'll find out here in a second. Six out of six. Man, we're getting smarter. Okay, good job, guys. All right, I forgot to record that page. Okay, now field mechanics.
Ever hear a coach yell, "How can you miss that?" Or, "What are you looking at?" Officials are expected to be perfect on every play, but that simply isn't possible. However, there are mechanics in place that are designed to help officials best observe the players through each play. Understanding and executing these mechanics will help you meet the challenges the NFL flag game presents, especially with its fast-paced nature, and overcome any coach concerns. So let's cover the key fundamentals. Mechanics are both positional and situational. Where you are on the field, the game situation, and the size of your crew all play a part in your approach to every snap. Crews of 2 and 3 are used to officiate NFL flag games at the local, regional, and national levels. We're going to examine the mechanics for both scenarios while in the red zone or elsewhere on the field of play. Let's first take a look at how a 3-person crew operates outside the red zone on an NFL flag field. 3-person crews are used at regional and national tournaments for NFL flag to provide maximum field coverage. If you're assigned to a 3-person crew, you need to learn each position and memorize their responsibilities to best execute them. The head referee is the leader on the field. He or she controls the game is the lead communicator and the final authority on all disputes. The head referee's pre-snap position should be off to the side and a comfortable distance behind the quarterback setting up to take the snap from center. If you're a head referee, your responsibilities are being in charge of pre-game checks for proper equipment, handling the pre-game instructions and coin flip, being the lead communicator on the field, keeping the official game clock, 7-second verbal passing clock, and optional play clock, keeping the official score and verifying the final score, spotting the ball and signaling the ready for play, monitoring the quarterback through the release, monitoring illegal forward pass infractions and penalties in the backfield, announcing and signaling all penalties, being the final voice on disputes. After the head referee is in position, they should follow a mental checklist as the play develops. Here's a progression of what you should look for. Observe the players as they take their position for any obstruction issues prior to the snap, like missing flags or untucked jerseys. Locate defenders eligible to rush at the snap. Scan the backfield for proper shifts of formations and motion. Analyze who takes the snap from center and if there is a legal handoff. Pick up the rusher looking for a possible impeding call. Follow the quarterback and the ball downfield through the play's end. The line judge in NFL flag takes a position on the sideline at the line of scrimmage before the snap. He or she must cover half the field and the boundary through the end zone. If you're a line judge, your responsibilities are to mark the line of scrimmage on the sideline with a beanbag or other form of marker to spot each play. Monitor the 25-second play clock and verbally count the 10-second rundown. Be responsible for offsides, illegal procedure, and false start fouls, with an eye for illegal rush and impeding calls. Move downfield quickly to cover your area, including the boundary, until the play is over. Assist shuttling the ball back to the head referee for placement and to start the next play. Walk off the yardage and place the ball during penalty announcement by the head referee. Be a communication link for the head coach on your sideline during available dead ball time throughout the game. After the line judge is in position, they should also follow a mental checklist as the play develops. Here is a progression of what you should look for. Observe the players as they take their position for any obstruction issues prior to the snap, like missing flags or untucked jerseys. Confirm all offensive and defensive players are onside. Scan the defense to determine who is legal to rush and who must wait for a legal handoff. Scan the offensive backfield for proper shifts of formations and motion. See if a legal handoff is executed after the snap and then check the rusher for possible illegal rush or impeding. Move downfield, focusing on the ball and your area of responsibility until the play ends. Rush judges, sometimes known as back judges, are unique to NFL flag. If you're assigned to this position, you're responsible for plays along your sideline as well as all downfield plays, since you're the deepest NFL flag official on the field. This referee also marks the rush line for the defense by walking off 7 yards from the line of scrimmage each play, and they need to be in place prior to all ready-for-play signals from the head referee. If you're a rush judge, your responsibilities are to be positioned on the opposite sideline of the line judge. Mark the 7-yard rush line for the defense. Monitor the secondary game clock. Be responsible for illegal rush and most downfield calls, including scoring plays. Move quickly after judging possible illegal rush fouls to stay ahead of the ball and rule on plays downfield. Assist shuttling the ball back to the head referee for placement and to start the next play. Be a communication link for the head coach on your sideline during available dead ball time throughout the game. After the rush judge is in position, They should follow a mental checklist as the play develops. Observe the players as they take their position for any obstruction issues prior to the snap, like missing flags or untucked jerseys. Scan the defense to determine who is legal to rush and who must wait for a legal handoff. Focus on the players behind the 7-yard rush line to determine if anyone jumps the snap or remains legal to rush the quarterback at the snap. See if a legal handoff is executed after the snap, and then check the rusher for possible illegal rush or impeding. Move downfield, focusing on the ball and your area of responsibility until the play ends. While 3 officials on the field creates full coverage, officials are constantly required to execute their responsibilities, adjust as the game develops, and communicate with each other to achieve the best field coverage. Now let's take a look at how a 2-person crew must adjust and operate in an NFL flag game. Many NFL flag leagues commonly use a 2-person crew to officiate their games. One is a referee and the other is a rush judge. But with limited field coverage, adjustments are made to each position. The head referee and rush judge maintain the same responsibilities and mental progression as a 3-person crew, but now they both incorporate the duties assigned to the line judge. Positioning is key for the head referee. When only working with one other partner, there are 2 options available. The first is to set up in the backfield behind the quarterback and off to the side. Or they can take a position on the sideline opposite the rush judge at the line of scrimmage. It's really up to you to decide where you'll be most effective. The sideline position affords the best possible field coverage with open sight lines across the field and down the boundary, so we typically recommend this position pre-snap. As a head referee, you maintain the same responsibilities as when you're working in a 3-person crew, but with a few additional line judge responsibilities. Mark the line of scrimmage on the sideline with a beanbag or other form of marker to spot each play. Assign the 25-second play clock and verbal 10-second countdown to the rush judge. Call fouls for both the offense and defense along the line of scrimmage. Walk off the yardage and place the ball during penalty announcement. Monitor plays from the boundary through the end zone on your side of the field. Hold your position with focus primarily in the backfield until the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. Move quickly downfield once the ball crosses the line of scrimmage to rule on the play until it's complete. Here's a progression of what you should look for with your new responsibilities in a 2-person crew. Observe the players as they take their position for any obstruction issues prior to the snap, like missing flags or untucked jerseys. Confirm all defensive and offensive players are onside. Scan for defenders who are eligible to rush at the snap and those who must wait for a legal handoff. Scan the backfield for proper shifts of formations and motion. Watch who takes the snap from center to monitor if there's a legal handoff stopping the 7-second pass clock. Watch the rusher and look for a possible impeding call. Follow the quarterback and the ball as it moves downfield, focusing on your areas of responsibility until the play ends. The rush judge's position on the field is the same as the 3-person mechanic. He or she sets up on the opposite sideline, 7 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage. The rush judge must walk off this distance before each play. As a rush judge, your responsibilities are also the same as a 3-person crew with just 3 additions. Monitor the 25-second play clock, including the 10-second verbal countdown. Retrieve the ball and return it to the head referee for placement and to start the next play. Monitor the deep third of the field and most scoring plays. Now that you're responsible for the deep third of the field and most scoring plays, you need to close the distance between plays occurring toward the opposite sideline. Here's a progression of what you should look for with your new responsibilities in a 2-person crew. Observe the players as they take their position for any obstruction issues prior to the snap, like missing flags or untucked jerseys. Scan the defense to determine who is legal to rush and who must wait for a legal handoff. Focus on all players behind the 7-yard rush line to determine if anyone jumps the snap or remains legal to rush the quarterback. Watch the backfield to see if a legal handoff has been executed, and then look to the rusher for a possible impeding call. Move quickly downfield, along the sideline following the ball to rule on plays until they're complete. Close the distance between you and plays occurring toward the opposite sideline to be in the best possible position to make those calls. Whether you're working in a 3 or 2-person crew, following these mechanical guidelines and using proper communication will create consistent and fair games for everyone.
Field mechanics are one of those ones that are probably hard, but once you get it, it makes life easier. All right, let's quiz this. The head referee should take a position next to and slightly behind the quarterback when working with a 2-person crew.
It's kind of a trick question. It says that you can do that. But
Better coverage on the side, and you're kind of not really next to the quarterback, you're behind the quarterback. So that one is false. Okay. The ready for play signal can be given once the previous play has been completed, once the ball is in the hands of the head referee and been spotted on the field, once the rush judge is in place and the head referee spots the ball, or once both teams are set and ready for the next play. One, you see number 2? Or is it number 3? Number 2 or number 3?
probably number 3, because if the head ref has the ball in his hand, it's going to be hard for the kids to play.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is you have to wait for your other referee to be ready too. So, yeah, so number 3. The 2 key fundamentals for mechanics to rely on while officiating an NFL flag game. There are 2. Are there 2 or are there more than 2?
It's false.
Who said false? False? Okay. How many are there? There's 3. We'll talk about those. Head referee's responsibilities include lead communicator for the game, 7-second passing and secondary game clocks, the official score, pre-game equipment checks. So all that apply. So he's the lead communicator for the game, right? Does everybody agree with that? For this game, 7-second passing and secondary. Is he running the secondary game clock or the primary game clock? Primary. Okay. Is he keeping the official score? Okay. Does he do pre-game equipment checks? Yes. Okay. The line judge should include blank in their mental progression each play. So which one's the line judge? Where does he line up? On the line of scrimmage. Yes, very good. So line of scrimmage. Okay. So think of yourself, if you're the line judge, you're not the head ref, but you're on the line of scrimmage. What are you looking for? Confirm that all defensive and offensive players are on side. Marking the line of scrimmage. Who marks the line of scrimmage? Head ref, good. Scanning the backfield for proper shifts and motion. And then monitor the assigned 25-second clock for the start of the verbal 10-second countdown. Who does that? Who's doing the game clock? I can't remember. I think that's right. True or false? The rush judge should focus on the entire defense of the snap for any illegal rush calls. True or false? You say true. Where's the rush judge line up? This is for a 3-man crew. They're the 10-yard rush marker, right?
In NFL flag, it's 7 yards, but for Friday night flag, we're gonna do 10.
We moved it back to 10 just because it gives the kids a better chance to throw the ball. So what does the rush judge focus on? In a 3-man crew. Yeah, so they're watching the rush line, right? So that would be false, right? Because they're not watching everybody. They're watching guys lined up behind the rush line. When working with a 2-person crew, the head referee adds these to his or her responsibilities. Marking the line of scrimmage with the beanbag or marker. Is that true or false? True. Boundary through the end zone on their side of the field. So basically they're watching the sideline, right? All timing for the game except for secondary game clock. Now there's no line judge. True. Alignment fouls for both teams. So that's offside stuff. What's that? You don't think that one's true? So that would be offside. Yeah. Okay. You might be right. When working with the 3-person crew, the line judge is responsible for, where's the line judge line up again? Line of scrimmage, okay? So he's on the line of scrimmage and he's checking each team for equipment issues between plays. True? Yes. Marks the line of scrimmage with the beanbag or other marker. Who does that? Head ref. Is the communication link, I think it's missing, is the communication link with the head coach on their assigned side of the field? True, right? And who else would it be? Or all of the above? Oh, this is 3-person. That's why. I'm sorry. The head ref doesn't do that when it's 3-person. So it is all of the above. I think we missed one. I think maybe 2. Yeah, we missed one. The results are, I was going to go over 3 mechanics. So there's 3 fundamentals. It says where to be on the field, what to be looking for on the field, and when to be looking for it on the field. Okay, those are the 3 fundamentals. Where to be, what to look for, and when to look for it. Okay. And the one we got wrong was, I don't see it.
That last one.
Was the last one?
The other one up. The one we missed alignment.
Oh, alignment for both teams. Okay, not bad. Okay, let's go to red zone mechanics.
Given the size of the field, pace, and young athletes competing, NFL flag games naturally provide scoring opportunities on every play. It's important to have a plan in place for when the offense approaches the red zone, which is the area from the 10-yard line to the goal line. Prior to each snap, the head referee must confirm with crew members where they'll reposition themselves after the ball is snapped. Keeping the fundamentals of officiating mechanics in mind, each official should move to the best position on the field to rule on potential scoring plays. Specifically, you want to have clear sight lines along crucial boundaries, including both sidelines, the goal line, and the end line along the back of the end zone. As the play develops, you'll scan your area of responsibility on the field. In the red zone, all 3 NFL flag officials' responsibilities and positioning remain the same prior to the snap. As the play develops, you'll watch for the same mental progressions too. But since this area is a confined space, with each snap potentially a scoring play, there's a heightened sense of focus required as you monitor the play. The line judge and rush judge move quickly to predetermined locations to best observe as each play develops. Where the ball is spotted once inside the red zone determines where each official should reposition themselves. For example, if the ball is spotted between the 10-yard line and the 5-yard line, the rush judge should move to the goal line after the snap and rule on plays there, while the line judge works quickly towards the end zone to be in place at the goal line if possible. Either way, both officials should follow the ball as it travels into the end zone for a better vantage point to judge the play. Meanwhile, the head referee follows the quarterback and the ball, having a sight line from behind, until the play ends, no matter position inside the red zone. Furthermore, if the ball is spotted anywhere inside the 5-yard line, the rush judge will move to the back corner pylon in the end zone after the snap. This position allows for a clear view along the end line in the back of the end zone and the sideline. It also provides panoramic sight lines of the end zone. The line judge will directly move to the goal line after the snap, providing they have the ability to rule on plays along their boundary. This position allows for 180 degrees of visibility of the play as it develops. While 3-person crews provide the best coverage inside the red zone for NFL flag games, adjustments are made for a 2-person crew. Let's take a look. The head referee and the rush judge will have the same approach in a 2-person crew when it comes to responsibilities, monitoring the play, and pre-snap positioning. However, the ball's placement in the red zone affects their post-snap positioning. For plays starting between the 10 and 5-yard lines, the head referee maintains their position at the line of scrimmage on the sideline. Here, your number one priority is in the backfield until the ball moves across the line of scrimmage. Once that happens, you should move with the ball to get into the best possible position to rule on potential scoring plays. That means leaving the sideline and closing the distance between you and the ball if possible. Remember, with fewer eyes on the field to judge each play, moving with the ball is key inside the red zone. The rush judge will move to the goal line after the snap and judge plays from there. If the ball is marked from the 5-yard line to the goal line, nothing changes for the head referee. It will be easier to get into position at the goal line with less distance to travel. The rush judge, on the other hand, now moves to the corner pylon in the back of the end zone. These two positions provide maximum coverage for a 2-person crew in the red zone. Here are the key takeaways on ruling within the red zone. Get to your position as soon as possible. Work to be stationary, not moving. Widen your vision. Be aware of the ball moving toward you and step back. Maintain your sight line. When executing properly, these red zone game plans for 3-person and 2-person crews provide maximum field coverage, allowing you to best judge potential scoring plays. NFL flag leagues that are recreational and in the youngest age groups playing NFL flag often use only one official on the field. Game management is very different. The score may not be kept, and having fun is most important. You must be a facilitator in helping the players learn the game. As players line up before the snap, be more vocal with helping them line up properly. Be more liberal with warnings between plays to minimize penalty enforcement, so they can learn what they are doing wrong and correct it. You must be a teacher first and rule enforcer second, so they can learn and enjoy the game. If you find yourself expected to be the only official on the field game day, it is essential during pregame instructions you communicate to each coach your limited field coverage and any rule adjustments that have been made by local league organizers, if any. The most common rule adjustments are: 1. Games are extended to 40 minutes or more. 2. Play clocks are extended to 40 seconds or more. 3. No run zones are eliminated. Teams may execute run plays anywhere on the field. 4. The defense can't rush the passer at the snap. Defenders must wait for a legal handoff before they can cross the line of scrimmage. When it comes to mechanics, there are 3 positions you can use once the ball has been spotted on the field. 1. Position yourself off to the side and a short distance behind the quarterback, setting up to take the snap from center. This is the most common pre-snap position for one official on the field. 2. On the boundary and at the line of scrimmage. This position is recommended for plays inside the red zone from the 10-yard line to the goal line. It allows for better sight lines on potential scoring plays. 3. On the boundary and at the 7-yard rush line. This position would be used if there is a more competitive division where rushing the passer is allowed. Follow this progression of mechanics to the ready for play when your pre-snap position is on the boundary at the 7-yard rush line. Spot the ball at the line of scrimmage in the middle of the field, placing a beanbag or marker next to the ball. Walk off the 7 yards to set the rush line. Walk to the boundary and face the opposite boundary. Once the players and you are in place, signal the ready for play. When the ball is snapped, regardless of the pre-snap positioning, follow the ball as it moves downfield and work to get in the best possible position to judge each play. By using these mechanics, adjusting game management to the level of play, and communicating clearly with coaches and players, officiating by yourself can be managed and very rewarding.
Hopefully we'll have enough rest. You won't ever have to grab by yourself. Okay. Okay, we'll go over this really quick. Once inside the 5-yard line, the head referee should be focused on players approaching and in the end zone during the potential scoring plays after the snap. True or false? Yeah, so I think they talked about the line judge and the rush judge being on that, right? So I think that's probably false. If you get it wrong, you'll still get a candy at least. All right, the red zone in the NFL flag is between the 20 and the goal line, the 10 and the goal line, the 5 and the goal line, or none of the above. You guys remember this one? I don't remember.
I think it's 5. Because the biggest spot.
5?
It's 5.
Final answer? We'll try 5. I'm not 100% sure I didn't hear that. When working a 3-person crew, who should move to the goal line when the ball is spotted inside the 5-yard line? The rush judge, the line judge, the head referee, both the line judge and the rush judge, to get sight lines from both sides of the field. Line judge? Who says line judge? Who says rush judge? Who says head ref? Who says I don't know? Okay, at least you're honest. Okay, it was the line judge. Okay, once the ball is marked between the 5-yard line and the goal line after the snap, the rush judge should move to the corner pylon at the end line on his or her side of the field. True or false? True? Who says true? Yeah, it's true, right? Remember the rush judge is the guy lining up on the rush line? Okay, the 2-person crew with the ball spotted between the 10-yard line and the 5-yard line, the head ref must move toward the backfield after the snap to best monitor the quarterback through the release of the ball, move to the goal line to rule on scoring plays from there, maintain their position on the line of scrimmage and the sideline, or both A and C. Bueller? Any guesses? No? I think it's B. What do you think, Maureen?
I would say B also.
I think it's B. We'll find out. If we're wrong, then we'll know for next time. Okay. Red zone keys are work to be stationary, not moving, maintain your sight lines, widen your vision, and get into position as soon as possible. Which ones? Widen your vision's one. Who said that?
Is that work to be stationary?
Work to be stationary. That's true as well. Maintain your sight lines. That's one as well. You guys are going to be so figured out, huh? And then what about getting to position as soon as possible? Is that one of them or not? It was? Okay. There's a whole lot of things to get rid of. Okay. Two more. Oh, no, that was it. We missed two. The red zone is between the 10. Who said 10 in the goal line? You said it too? Here, Cole. Okay, it's between the 10. Okay. And we never really talked about the red zone, so that's kind of new to us, but it's good to know so you know when to be positioning yourself at the goal line, right? What was the other one we missed? Two-person crew, when the ball is spotted between 10 and the 5. Okay. So they stay on the line of scrimmage until the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, and then you move to the goal line. Okay. Very good. I think we've got a couple more videos. Does anybody have to go right at noon? You do? Okay. We'll try and get through penalty enforcement. This one's pretty good.
NFL flag officials create an environment of learning, growth, and most importantly, safety. That means consistently enforcing the rules to create a fair game. Think about it this way. Flag football is about advancing the ball legally within the rules. If an illegal act occurs, your job is to judge that foul, its effect on the play, and whether there was an advantage gained. You also decide which fouls to call and which fouls to let go, which ultimately affects the game. So coaches and players depend on you for consistently called games that create some form of predictability. The bottom line is that they expect it, so you must provide it. This section takes a close look at the rulebook and penalties, so you can call your games with confidence. To effectively manage a game, you should proactively communicate your expectations about rough play, alignment, and enforcement to coaches and players. But the way you address these topics really depends on the age group you're officiating. NFL Flag provides leagues for kids ages 5 through 14, so you should keep in mind that younger age groups are still learning the game as they grow and develop athletically. With penalty enforcement, you should act as a facilitator to help them learn the game. Be generous with warnings between plays on alignment and teach the players what may be called a penalty so they can correct it. Older groups, on the other hand, have improved their skills and knowledge of the game, so you can take a standard approach when enforcing the rules. While you should still communicate between plays to avoid unnecessary penalties and game interruption, it's best to let the outcome of each play to be decided after the snap when possible. Let's take a look at blocking and screening from the NFL Flag rulebook. Here's a wide receiver running upfield, ahead and away from the ball carrier who is clearly past the line of scrimmage. While there's technically a foul for the player not being stationary, there's no clear advantage gained. In this instance, by the book isn't the best choice, and the official shouldn't throw a flag. Ball side movement by other offensive players must be observed for this foul to be called. This is an example of a foul that would unnecessarily insert the official into the game. Live ball fouls are infractions that occur while the ball is in play. Officials must throw their flag for these fouls, but allow the play to continue to a dead ball situation. Dead balls happen when the ball carrier's flag is pulled, the ball carrier steps out of bounds, it's an incomplete pass, the ball hits the ground, a touchdown, PAT, or safety is scored, the ball carrier's knee or arm touches the ground, the ball carrier's flag falls out, when a player has one or no flags when receiving the ball, the ball carrier leaves the ground other than to spin, jump cut, or to avoid a down player on the field of play. The offended team has the option to accept or decline the penalty, and all live ball penalties are assessed before the down and distance are determined. Here's an example of flag guarding and its penalty and enforcement. Team A has the ball on the 23-yard line, in the no-run zone, with 2 yards to go for the first down at the 25-yard line. It's second down. Team A completes a legal forward pass, but the ball carrier commits a flag guarding foul on the 22 of the opposing team's side of the field. The official allows the play to continue to a dead ball situation. Team B accepts the penalty. The official assesses the penalty, which is 10 yards from the spot of the foul with loss of down. It is now third down from Team A's 18. Team A is not awarded a first down for crossing the first down marker while the play was active. Simply put, you must assess all accepted live ball penalties first to determine down and distance for the next play. Lastly, keep in mind that these rules, and the interpretations that go along with them, may be different than other forms of flag or tackle football you might officiate. Knowing the rules and how they are applied to the NFL flag game is a key component for you as an NFL flag official. How do you and the other officials gather and share information surrounding each penalty? Once the play is complete, you should come together as a group to share the foul and where it was located with the head referee. And remember, never yell across the field. It can come off as unprofessional. Then, the head referee should approach the offended team's head coach to see if they want to accept or decline the penalty. All fouls should be announced clearly and loud enough to be heard without blatantly yelling. Here's a simple progression you can follow when announcing the foul. What is the infraction? Say it verbally and by signal. Who committed the infraction? The offense or the defense? Accepted or declined? Penalty enforcement? And down. Here's an example of a penalty announcement.
Impeding the rusher, offense. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, loss of down, it's second down.
Here are other key factors to consider when developing your game plan for penalty enforcement. Be professional and courteous at all times to players and coaches. Proactively communicate with coaches and players. Know the rules and penalty enforcement. If a foul occurs, ask yourself if there's an advantage gained. Enforce the rules with a focus on player safety. Make the call if it involves player health and safety. Take into account the age and skill level when warnings are involved. Avoid by-the-book or game interrupter calls. Have a defined penalty announcement progression in place. In NFL flags, some penalties are called more than others. This often leads to discussions with coaches as to why certain penalties are called or not. But knowing what constitutes as a foul will help you minimize coaches' concerns. The best place to start is with common fouls and their definitions. Impeding the rusher is any act that would cause the rusher to slow down, including an offensive player inside the path to the quarterback who contacts the rusher, even if the offensive player is executing a pass pattern. The path to the quarterback from the rusher is set pre-snap. If the quarterback rolls out in one direction or another, it doesn't change the rusher's original path and the right-of-way without obstruction. Flag guarding is an act that would impede the defender from grabbing the flag. That includes using a hand, elbow, arm, or ball to cover the flag, or jumping to avoid a pull. Defensive holding is when the defender progressively grabs or holds the ball carrier, and it stops or prevents their progress. For example, Short's grab without impeded progress of the ball carrier would not constitute a foul. Blocking or screening happens when offensive players are running around the ball carrier, essentially blocking the defense. These fouls must occur on the side of the field where the ball is being advanced. Before you call the foul, give offensive players on the ball side of the field a few steps to come to a stationary position. Movement away from the ball would not constitute a penalty. NFL flag officials need to know every offensive and defensive penalty to fairly call a game. Here's the list of offensive penalties. Offsides. If any part of the player's body is beyond the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Delay of game. The offense didn't snap the ball within 25 seconds. Illegal procedure or false start. A player moves in a way that indicates the start of the play before the ball is snapped. Illegal motion or procedure. Players shifting and not coming to a complete stop before the ball is snapped, or when an offensive team executes a run play in the no-run zone. Impeding the rusher. Any act by an offensive player to impede the progress of the rusher while they are in the path. The path is set pre-snap. Flag guarding. The ball carrier intentionally obstructs the defender's access to their flag. Screening or blocking. Offensive players running with or around the ball carrier. Charging. Ball carrier charges into a defender who has an established position on the field. Unnecessary roughness. Includes any conduct or safety-related infractions and can lead to ejection. Unsportsmanlike conduct. When coaches or players act in an unsportsmanlike manner, such as excessive celebration, using abusive language, punching or kicking an opponent. Taunting. Unsportsmanlike action displayed at a defensive player. Illegal forward pass. If any part of a player's body breaches the line of scrimmage before the ball is out of hand, or any pass, complete or incomplete, without touching a defender behind the line of scrimmage. Offensive pass interference. An offensive player interfering with a defensive player's opportunity to cover, move toward, or catch a legal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. Here's a list of defensive penalties. Offsides. If any part of the player's body is beyond the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Roughing the passer. A player makes contact with the passer's throwing arm or makes contact which would be deemed excessive. Illegal rush. A defensive player who rushes inside the 7-yard marker before a legal handoff. Illegal flag pulling. When a ball carrier's flag is pulled by a defensive player before he or she has possession of the ball. Holding. Any act by the defense to hold, grab, or pull which impedes the ball carrier's progress. Taunting. Unsportsmanlike action displayed at an offensive player. Unnecessary roughness. Includes any conduct or safety-related infractions and can lead to ejection. Unsportsmanlike conduct. When coaches or players act in an unsportsmanlike manner, such as excessive celebration, using abusive language, punching or kicking an opponent. Stripping. Pulling the ball away from the offensive player when they've already established possession.
Okay, so you guys have your cheat sheets for those signals. So I recommend you study those as much as possible. it's not totally critical as much as studying the rule book, but the better you get at it, the more confident you seem, and the more the coaches and parents will assume you know what you're doing. So let's see. We'll do this quiz and then we'll finish up. Okay. Let's see how well we learn. NFL flag. All live ball fouls must be assessed before the play is considered complete to set down and distance. True or false? That'd be a dead ball, yeah. So all live ball foul. So they're asking, you have to assess the live ball fouls before you figure out where to put the ball, right? True. So yeah. Penalty announcement progression includes select all applies. So the infraction, who committed the infraction, penalty enforcement, or all of the above. If you can remember who. Sometimes that's hard remembering who did it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. You are the line judge chasing a play down your sideline and think you see the defender push the receiver out of bounds and to the ground after the flag is pulled. You should let it go and keep your flag in your belt as there is a doubt. Warn the player for rough play. Tell the head coach to speak to his player and let him know another foul like that would result in unsportsmanlike penalty. Throw a flag for unnecessary roughness and notify the head referee of the foul for enforcement. Player safety is most important. So you think it'll be your C? Any other thoughts? D? Anybody else think D? I think it's D too. We'll find out. All defensive fouls include automatic first down for the offense. True or false? I don't know. You know, Morgan? I don't know. We'll find out. Some key factors for penalty enforcement game plans are avoid by-the-book calls, be proactive in your communication to coaches and players, enforce unnecessary roughness from the first play to control the game. Both teams were warned pre-game. Or all of the above. You think A and B? Anybody else think anything different? I think all of the above. That's my guess. Who said all of the above? Drake? I think you're right. We'll find out. If you guys are right, I'll throw you some candy. When you see a flag guarding foul, you should throw the flag and blow the play dead. True or false? What was that? Yeah, the flag guarding. Do you blow the whistle or not blow the whistle? Throw the flag, but don't blow the whistle. So, false. That's good, Drake. It's like you've refed before or something. An offensive foul, all offensive fouls include loss of down. True or false? I think that's false. When the rusher knocks the ball out of the hand of the quarterback, what is the foul? Roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness, stripping, unsportsmanlike conduct for not going for the flag. Stripping. Good. Which of the following are the most frequently called penalties in NFL flag? Select all that apply. Impeding the rusher, illegal flag pull, illegal rush, or defensive holding. You think defensive holding? Any other guesses? My guess is illegal rush. What would be illegal flag pull? That'd be like grabbing the shorts or something. We'll see. When there is contact to the quarterback, the call can be roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness, incidental contact, no foul, or all of the above. All of the above. Okay, let's see how we did. Those aren't easy. Some of those questions are tough. Let's see what we missed. So live ball fouls are assessed before the play is considered complete, okay? That's true. So you guys got the penalty announcement progression correct. Throw a flag. So the unnecessary roughness is throw the flag, and because you do warn them in pregame, so throw the flag. And then once again, it's most important thing is keeping these players safe. So if somebody's doing things that are endangering people, throw a flag, no doubt. Okay. All defensive fouls include automatic first down for the offense. True. That's good to know. That's actually a good trick to remember. So if there's ever a defensive foul, remember it's an automatic first down. That's good to know. I don't think I realized that. It keeps it simple. Remember what's first down and what's not. All offensive fouls include loss of down. Also true. So that makes it easier too. If there's an offensive foul, it's a loss of down. Okay. Which of the following are the most frequently called penalties? Impeding the rusher and defensive holding. And I'm not totally surprised with that. Okay. Any questions? Okay. All that music in the background, that Kahoot, that's our final quiz. So Morgan, if I can find it for you, I'll pull it up. Where'd it go? I have a lot of slides. Okay. Do you guys want to pull up Kahoot? And if you have to leave at this point, you're totally welcome to, but this is just kind of fun. There you go. You guys want to grab a cookie on your way out?
Are they filled out? Okay, and so we're just waiting on your IDs. Just take them with you. You do a picture of Ziva's email address, right?
Just send it back.
Yeah, W4 front page and W4 front page of the I-9 and then the two.
Yes, we got cookies. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So what time is we be there Friday? Friday at 4:30 at Community Park, okay? So that's the 14th, so that's coming Friday, okay? Okay. Thank you. So Friday at 4:30, see you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Okay, your odds of winning just went up. Everybody in? Who's not in?
Do you wanna? Because you just wanna be Batman again?
Hey, you got it? Where's Striker? Oh, you did it. Great, Striker's file. Okay, you got it.
Wait, I'm not in.
You wanna wait for a second? You're Batman.
Is it working?
That's robot.
Is it robot?
Yes. Now.
There you go. Okay, ready? Do you wanna run it? Since it's your quiz?
No, it's all right. Just well, I can do it. Yeah. Oh, all right.
Speed matters, just, you know.
Who should parents talk to if they have any questions or complaints? All right. Yes, they should be talking to their coaches. So all of that information is delegated to the coach, and the coach is the one that's talking with referees and or Reser and myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
Batman, you know.
Which of the following items must be removed before gameplay? Good. Okay. It is legal to strip the ball if possession has been established. Good. Yeah, you can't strip the ball. All right. If the ball is past the pylon, it is a touchdown or a touchdown. True or false? Good. Yeah, it's false because the ball is marked down wherever the front foot is. So the front foot would have to be in the end zone for it to be a touchdown. All possession changes except for interceptions start on the offense's.
I actually put 10 there. I was thinking like the end zone.
Oh, you just
All
shot
right.
from top spot.
I know.
Oh, and such an easy one too, Candy.
Once the ball is spotted by the referee, how long does a team have to snap the ball? Good. They have 30 seconds. How many 60-second timeouts does each team receive per half? Yep, they only get one 1-minute timeout per half, and it doesn't translate. So if you don't use your timeout in the first half, you don't get it in the second half.
No carryover. Candy, you can work your way back up to second.
If the ball carrier steps out of bounds or there is an incomplete pass, the clock stops.
Oh, that's
Good. Yeah. To go along with that, clock management is really important because we only have 45 minutes essentially to get the game all the way through. So let that clock roll unless there's an injury.
Is Batman a bot? And he's winning?
Yeah.
You guys can't beat the machine, huh?
So no.
When running the ball is spotted where the ball carrier. Good. All right. A player who gains possession in the air is considered inbounds as long as. Good. Yeah, it's only 1 foot. The quarterback can directly run with the football beyond the line of scrimmage. True or false? Yeah, it's false. He can run with the ball if he hands the ball off, and then there's like a lateral kind of pass.
Come
I
on.
didn't get the question, okay?
Come on,
What
kid.
is in real life?
In case of simultaneous possession by both an offensive and a defensive player, possession is awarded to the. Yeah, great. It's offense.
Back up. Just like that.
A rusher leaves the 10-yard rush mark early. The ball is handed off before he crosses the line of scrimmage. What should you do?
I've got it, people. This is a legal rush. Why is it a legal rush?
Because if like it's handed off and everyone can rush at the same time.
That's right. Once the ball's handed off, there is no offside.
Yeah, that one's a thinking question.
You beat the machine, Cindy.
Yes.
How many athletes are allowed on the field per team?
Oh, it tripped you up.
Good, yeah. There's only 5 players per team.
That's like a trick question.
Mm-hmm. Stop the clock for any injuries on the field. True or false? Good.
That was fast. That's
When attempting an extra point, what are a team's 2 options? Read this one carefully. Good. Yeah. So Here, it's a run from the 5-yard line, or
You run a 5, yeah, run from the 5, or no, you can't run from
oh yeah, sorry, I misworded that when I wrote it. Sorry guys, that was late last night. My bad. So don't worry about that one. When is the only time a possession will not begin at the 5-yard line? That one's also wrong. Sorry, it's interception or overtime. So those of you who marked blue, you are correct.
There's no fumbles in this flag football. It's dead ball.
Yeah, no fumble recovery. When are substitutions allowed? I don't know if we talked about this much, but substitutions, you call for substitutions at mid-quarter, so 5 minutes through the first quarter and end of the quarter.
Keaton Riker, who's gonna win? Of course, it can still end it.
All passes must be received beyond the line of scrimmage. It is false if you are in the no-run zone, or if there's a team in the no-run zone, it must be a forward pass, though. Cool.
Kyle,
Let's go, Kyle.
Riker 1-2, and our returning rep, former player, only female. Good job. All right.
Go.
I'll stop recording on that. So keep running. Good. Thanks, Morgan, for doing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll fix those other ones. I'll just send it to you.
You guys want to? If you guys want to grab cookies, you're welcome to that.